We are analyzing how India is attracting global faculty to their universities. My name's Vanessa.
I'm Alex.
I'm Matt.
I'm also Matt.
I'm Jay.
And we hope you enjoy our presentation.
Attracting global faculty will be much different from attracting locally. India must attract the best possible staff while competing with the United States or other countries that pay more. They do so with less tangible benefits. This includes a certain type of lifestyle that working in other parts of the world cannot offer. Many professors choosing to move to India are originally from there, and finding they are happier in a place they feel they fit in better. Family is another reason people are moving to India. Their jobs are offering the ability to spend more time with family as well as work. Another aspect they are moving to India for is the great opportunity to research in one of the fastest growing economies in the world. With the opportunity to research in this area comes the opportunity to have a greater impact on society. Lastly, a reason people are moving to India is happiness. Even though people are earning less when moving to India, the lifestyle they have there makes up for it and ultimately makes them happier. Recruiting employees would include having to make people in other countries around the world aware of the job opportunities in India. This may be difficult to do. Often, online job postings and applications are the most efficient method. Like any other selection process, the employer must first check to see if the applicant's experience and credentials are sufficient for the job, but the rest of selecting employees to come to India will be a challenge. First, the universities will have to interview the candidate, but it is unreasonable to make the person fly across the world sometimes. Therefore, they could use a phone interview or Skype interview method. Through this, hopefully the organization can get a feel as to whether or not this individual will fit in well with the organization and be successful in an entirely different country and culture. The employer must also get a sense as to whether the candidate is looking for less tangible benefits such as lifestyle over money. It would be helpful to understand what this person is seeking in coming to India, such as what they want to research as a professor.
Finding a method of which to motivate employees is very difficult, and the task only becomes more daunting as mixed cultures come into play. Motivation can be defined as the intensity, direction, and persistence of effort a person puts towards reaching a goal. Several factors also come into play when it comes to motivating an employee, such as extrinsic motivators, which includes motivation that comes from outside a person and includes tangible items such as pay incentives. There are also intrinsic motivators, which are motivators from inside a person, like the desire to accomplish a goal. It is also crucial for a well-functioning workplace to have various needs and wants in place to help both extrinsically and intrinsically motivate employees. Implementing the Maslow's hierarchy of needs through McClelland's theory of needs provides an exceptional method of creating both needs and wants within employees. McClelland's theory begins with the need for achievement, which is the drive to excel. Next is the need for power, which is the need to make others behave how they regularly wouldn't without that person of power present. And finally, the need for affiliation, the desire for interpersonal relationships. Through these needs, an employee is given the opportunity to move up through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, starting with psychological needs, then safety, social, esteem, and finally reaching self-actualization. Another method of motivation is the expectancy theory, the theory that individuals act depending upon their evaluation of whether their effort will lead to good performance and if that good performance will be followed by a given outcome, and whether that outcome is attractive to them. The expectancy theory moves through expectancy, the belief that effort is related to performance, instrumentality, the belief that performance is related to rewards, and finally valence, the value or importance an individual places on a reward. The quotation shown here is taken from the article that we discovered related to the hiring of employees overseas, specifically India. My decision to relocate to India is professional. Although I may have earned 4 times what I do in India, I'm a lot happier here. The article shows that although traveling large distances, employees can remain both extrinsically and intrinsically motivated. And this quotation is taken by a professor operating in a foreign country. There are numerous methods of motivating employees. However, in order to ensure that the company maintains its motivation, there needs to be a justice system in place. Organizational justice ensures that fairness within the organization exists. Reinforcement is also crucial to the long-term effectiveness and efficiency of an organization. Positive reinforcement is giving rewards for positive behavior, and negative reinforcement is punishing for poor behavior. Although negative reinforcement may seem like a bad thing, it can actually enforce power within the organization. Punishment is another method to enforce power for management, and continuous reinforcement is the desired behavior to reinforce each time that good behavior is demonstrated. To continue reinforcing job enrichment, the vertical expansion of jobs, it's important to incorporate positive feedback. Positive feedback is the degree to which carrying out the work activities required by the job results in the individual obtaining direct and clear information about the effectiveness of his or her performance. To ensure that motivation remains constantly reinforced, it's important to decide on a positive pay incentive, such as merit or incentive-based performance appraisal. Finally, skill-based pay is the incentive-based plan that sets pay levels on the basis of how many skills employees have or how many jobs they can perform.
Okay. Anticipatory, in control, and change are three stages of socialization. The global faculty of India accomplished the first two stages, but not the third stage because of the cultural barrier and language barrier. Most Asia culture is high context culture. In their language, what is not said may be more significant than what is said. In contrast, Europe and North America have a low context culture. They rely heavily on words to convey meanings in communication, so cross-cultural communication can be a problem for them. India is high in human orientation and in-group collectivism, and India is a country that demonstrates strong family loyalty. However, America and England are high in preference orientation and low in in-group collectivism, and they are less attached to their families. So they stop at second stage of the socialization process. The faculty of India, they are not successfully adapt to the value norms and beliefs of the organization and its members, and they are not involved in the learning, the organization's climate and learning to fit in.
In this case, employee integration is an important phase when you consider that the professors are taking the job because they are seeking an Indian lifestyle while sacrificing their pay. It has been established that Asian families, more specifically Indian families, have great influence on a family member's career. With that being said, it's important that the professors' families feel just as integrated as much as the professors. Given that employee retention is an issue in India, a strong integration strategy can lead to strong growth. Job growth is essential to maintain a strong foundation of faculty. Lack of employee retention is a problem that many organizations face in India. Without being able to retain employees, growth cannot occur. 70% of Indians working in India for corporations prefer job security and emotional welfare over pay scale. When you consider that many of the people coming overseas to Indian universities are already Indian, it would appear that although professors will take a pay cut, growth can still occur because the Indian Business School promotes values consistent with Indian culture.
We are now going to look at one individual in particular, Professor Kharagpur, and his advantages and disadvantages for relocating to India. Kharagpur was born in India and grew up there his whole life. It was only recently that he accepted work in the US at the University of Rochester. Being from India and having remaining family there gives him an advantage with understanding cultural and social norms in India, as well as its economic and political stances. His main factor in relocating was professional, as he was currently completing a new model on Indian values and cultures. Lastly, Kharagpur is very interested in the Indian lifestyle and culture, and found that the change would be beneficial to him. One major disadvantage for Kharagpur was his compensation would decline by 60%, earning nearly half of what he was previously being paid at the American institution. A major source of income for researchers comes through government and private grants. As Kharagpur relocates back to India, his ability to obtain financial support also declines. Both of these two disadvantages are relevant to the third disadvantage, which is his slower advancement in his career in India. Overall, there are more advantages in his particular case, and so moving back home proved to be the better decision. What if Kharagpur was not from India? Some of the issues he would face would be the language barrier, meaning business communication would be difficult as one is expected to speak the local language. Another issue could be dietary changes, especially in North America, where food is made for a quicker lifestyle where less preparation is required. And finally, business customs and social norms, as some could be disrespectful and may slow down or ruin business relationships.
Thank you for watching our presentation, and here's a list of the sources we used to research.